Hello and welcome to Connect. I'm your host, Randy Shabilo. On today's show, we'll have Corinne Daelick with the Western Development Museum talking about their 75th anniversary, as well as Kent Smith-Windsor with RAP Saskatoon. As always, we'd like to connect with you. Follow us on Facebook at ConnectYXE, catch past interviews on YouTube, email us at connectyxe@gmail.com, or leave a message at 306-665-3796. The Western Development Museum is celebrating its 75th anniversary. We have Corinne Daelick here from the WDM. Thanks, first of all, for coming down to the studio.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
I want to talk about the Western Development Museum. I'm a member, have been for almost 40 years. Tremendous value and a lot of fun to belong to. When we look at the Western Development Museum, there's the four branches, but we're having the 75th anniversary. Take us there and tell us what's happening.
Well, on April 2nd, 1949, if I was to go way back, that's when the WDM was created through an act of the provincial legislature. So in April 2024, we started off some celebrations for the 75th. We started off on April 2nd with having 75-cent admission at all four of our locations. That was really well received. We had a lot of people come out and have a great time, just doing different activities around the museum. We had some of our volunteers out doing demonstrations and interpreting. So some of the things that you might be used to seeing if you come out to the WDM for one of our special events. And we had some birthday cupcakes and people got to enjoy that. And that sort of is kicking off, just activities that'll be taking place throughout the year, pretty much through 2024 and a little bit into early 2025. We did launch our WDM 75th Anniversary Adventure Passport, which is great for families. And it's when you visit a WDM, you get one of the passports, you get a stamp for that location, and then you can, within the next year, like before April 2nd, 2025, if you get a stamp at all four WDM locations, you'll get a special WDM t-shirt and you'll get entered for a special prize draw, WDM prize draw at the end. So we launched that on April 2nd as well, and we'll have seek and find activities and different demonstrations and displays just throughout the year.
And it's not just Saskatoon.
No, that's right. Yeah, we have the locations in North Battleford, which was actually the first WDM location. A lot of people don't know that. Saskatoon, Yorkton, and Moose Jaw.
I recall being old enough to remember when it was still on 11th Street.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's in its own standalone facility in the 1910 boomtown, it's just a magnificent portrayal of, expanse of how settlers have come here and pioneers and so on. What is special for you and your role, and what do you like with your job at the WDM?
Oh gosh. Well, I've worked at the WDM for quite a while. It's over 17 years now, and I've worked in a few different roles there. A lot of my time has been spent with programs, working with the public. So, that for myself, and I know for a lot of our volunteers that I talk to, they love to come out and meet people. And, because you get people from all over the world that will visit the WDM. So I think that's one really special thing. Also, the opportunity to share Saskatchewan stories. Like there are things that we showcase or that we've kept within our museums that I think people in Saskatchewan can be really proud of. In particular, I think of something like the Cobalt 60, the cancer bomb machine that's on display at the WDM in Saskatoon. Like, that's a pretty phenomenal, invention or creation that has really impacted a lot of people's lives, saved a lot of lives through the successful treatment of cancer. And a lot of people don't know that that was developed in Saskatchewan in the mid-1950s. And, that we were able to successfully treat people that, could then go on to live productive and happy lives within the province. So there's lots of little things like that I think we can be really proud of, and that we're fortunate that they were thinking ahead far enough 75 years ago to start collecting these sort of things so that we do have that history to share with everyone. So it's the people. It all comes back to the people, the visitors, but also the stories that we share of the people that have lived in our province and contributed over the years.
And I'd like to tell the story, but I know you're here, and I get excited about the fact that the museum itself, the four branches are not all the same. So there might be a an idea that I've seen one, you've seen them all. There are different themes with those.
Yeah, that's right. So, like you said, when you come to Saskatoon, Boomtown is the main feature. It was developed as, this indoor village meant to look like a small town might have looked like in Saskatchewan around 1910. And then also with the museum there, they also, we have the transportation gallery, we have the Saskatchewan story exhibit, so there's a lot more to see. If you go to North Battleford, it's an outdoor village, and that has been around since the early mid-1960s, and that's set up to look like a 1920s settlement in Saskatchewan. And a lot of the buildings in that village are, they're original buildings. So we have replicas and we have real artifact buildings, so that's really neat. In Moose Jaw, it's transportation. Some of the largest artifacts in the WDM collection are there. Planes, trains, and automobiles. So if you love things that move, you'll want to visit there. And in Yorkton, it's our smallest museum, but it's just fabulous because it has stories of different people who have come to Saskatchewan. We have some special feature rooms showing what might have been important or what was brought to Saskatchewan by Ukrainian settlers or settlers from Germany or from wherever. The other really neat exhibit in Yorkton is, it's called In a Prairie Attic, and it's a toy collection from the Bladen family of Lang, Saskatchewan. And they just had this phenomenal collection of toys and posters and pamphlets and books stored in their home, and they reached out to us in the 1990s and donated over 200 toys and books to us, some of them never out of the package. So it's a really incredible exhibit if you have a chance to get to Yorkton and see that one. A lot of people really enjoy it.
I know that there was a strong effort to capture the stories from across Saskatchewan, and that's branched out into a lot of the Indigenous reconciliation efforts. What have you done with that file in particular?
Oh, well, so a few years ago, we actually created our own, we called it our own inclusivity report, shall we say, where it outlines some of the things that the WDM is doing towards reconciliation and being more inclusive in our storytelling and our collecting. And so we've been fortunate that we've been able to rekindle relationships. For example, Whitecap Dakota Nation, just outside of Saskatoon, had been a big part of our summer show Pioneera from 1955 to 1969. And then over the years that, kind of relationship fell off. We weren't doing things together. We were able to rekindle that a few years ago to the point now where we have this fabulous exhibit in Saskatoon called Wapahaska Oyate, and it's telling the stories of the Whitecap community's involvement with Pioneera. And it was done in full consultation with Whitecap. They were a co-curator on the exhibit, selecting photos and items that we would display. So we were really fortunate. That exhibit opened in October 2022. It's been honored with a Museums Association of Saskatchewan award. And so that's one great exhibit we've done. Also in North Battleford, we've partnered with Kanawamic Child and Family Services there. And since 2021, they've been setting up a teepee village on the edge of the outdoor village, which is, if you think back to early settlement in Saskatchewan, a lot of times there might have been, a First Nations community right on the edge of the settler community. So we're very fortunate because that group, their elders and knowledge keepers will come out and they will do teepee teachings, they call it, and they'll talk a bit about different culture and activities that's important to them. So, those are a few of the things we've been doing. Down in Moose Jaw, we had a powwow we hosted there last fall. So there's different things that we're trying to do, in partnership and letting Indigenous communities also have a voice within our museums, which it wasn't there much before. We had the white settler story. It's nice to expand that and get more Saskatchewan people involved.
Get the truth out.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the museum. There's a membership and there's a volunteer pool that you also draw from. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So, we do have the membership program, and actually we've had a membership program since 1961. And in some of my research that I found recently, we actually had a lifetime membership you could buy in 1961 for $100. But as far as I know, no one's walked in with one lately to see if they can still get in the door. Yeah. But we have a great membership program which will give you access to all 4 WDM locations. Also, it will entitle you to discounts in the Boomtown Cafe in Saskatoon or at any of our gift shops. You can get into WDM special events, and you can get the membership either as an individual, as a duo, or as a family. So that's something nice, especially for families who like to visit the museum a lot. So that's a bit about the membership program. The volunteer program, we have volunteers at all 4 of our exhibit locations, as well as at our corporate office, which is in Saskatoon. And volunteers would connect with our volunteer coordinators at each location, and we do a bit of an interview, find out what they're interested in and the sort of things they like to do, and see if we can find a good fit for them doing various activities within the museum. Like, we have things from where you're working with the public, maybe you're helping with a school program or a public event, maybe you're doing crafts with kids, or to where, you know, there's some of the things where we need help painting something or we need help fixing something. So there's sort of those behind the scenes activities as well, and volunteers who like to come out and do demonstrations and do what we call interpretation, dressing up and being in costume, say in a building in Boomtown, and talking about the general store or wherever they are.
And there's also some events planned for this summer. What is happening there?
Well, there's a few different activities going on through the summer. So I know once a month, on one Tuesday a month, we have our Pop In and Play, which is great for if you have some little people in your life that you want to take out and have something for them to do. So we usually have that set up in the education room in Saskatoon, and folks can come in. There's usually a different craft or activity that you can do there. So that's one of our ongoing things, as well as some of the seek and find and scavenger hunt activities that take place every month throughout the year. Coming up in June, we have a few things. We're hosting the Spark Your Pride event, which is in partnership with Out Saskatoon as well. And so that's, getting some engagement with the 2S LGBTQ plus community. So that event is coming up on June 18th. We also have in the early July, we have the Summer Fun Day, which is, there'll be different demonstrations and activities sort of bringing the museum to life as well. So family activities and different things like that. So there's a few of those. And also we offer summer kids camps through the summer too. So if people are interested in finding something for their 7 to 11-year-olds to do, they can contact the museum. We can tell them a bit more about the summer camp activities. So I guess those are just a few of the highlights of things that are coming up.
So how would they get a hold of you if they wanted to get more information on that?
Well, they can just reach out to the museum either by calling 306-931-1910, or you can email at saskatoon@wdm.ca.
Perfect. Corinne, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and happy anniversary.
Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you out at the museum again soon.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.